The effects of native language consistency on learners' introduction to block-based instructional technologies. Introductions to programming languages can be difficult for many who have not experienced them before. This issue becomes more compounding of a factor when the user's native language is not English. Since most of all, if not all, programming languages have their syntax based in English phrasing, it can prove to be a challenge for non-English speaking individuals to pick up on nuances of the language and its components. This is where Scratch, a block-based programming language, can be a beneficial tool. In this experiment, we assess whether a lack of consistency between users' native language and the language of Scratch can hinder one's ability to understand and complete tasks using the blocks. We began our study with the following hypothesis. The lack of language consistency between a novice's native language and the interface they use will negatively impact their effectiveness, confidence, and exploration capacity when introduced to block-based programming environments. We conduct this experiment with an independent variable being language consistency. The levels were English speakers using Scratch in English and Spanish speakers using Scratch in English. To do this, we found native English speakers, and native Spanish speakers who knew English as a second language both performed tasks in English. We tested our hypothesis by collecting data on the participants' efficiency during the test, confidence using the tool, and level of exploration. Efficiency was measured by the number of correct solutions the participant gave to the task given on the test. Confidence was measured using a Likert scale from the survey provided to each of the participants after completion of the test. Finally, exploration capacity was measured by calculating the amount of time taken to drag the first block into the Scratch canvas. 16 total participants were gathered. 7 native English speakers using Scratch in English were our control group to compare against the 9 Spanish speakers also using Scratch in English. The first two, 1 native English speaker, 1 native Spanish speaker, were excluded from the efficiency results due to this being a pilot test for the overall experiment. They received additional assistance compared to the rest, so their correct answers were not comparable. However, their confidence and exploration results were included. The participants were all university students whose major was not a computer science or any related field. The experiment began with an informed consent form, followed by a breakdown of the tasks to be completed, a tutorial made up of the simulated tasks, a 5-minute break period, then the test, and it concluded with a survey comprised of multiple choice and open-ended questions to gauge the participants' attitudes toward the overall experience. Regarding efficiency, Spanish-speaking participants on average completed more tasks than the native English speakers. Regarding confidence, 6 of 9 Spanish-speaking participants stated that they would have preferred Scratch in their native language. 8 of 9 Spanish speakers stated that they believed that they would have performed better if Scratch was featured in their native language. Regarding exploration, on average, Spanish-speaking participants took longer to drag the first block in during the tutorial. After conducting a Shapiro-Wilk test, our data was found to be not normally distributed, and therefore we conducted a Wilcoxon-Mann-Whitney U test to assess statistical significance of our dependent variables, finding that for both variables there was no significance. According to this, we used non-parametric tests to check if there was or not a significant difference between participant groups. We found no significance for any of the observed variables with p-values less than 0.05. Our results suggest that consistency of language between user and interface does not affect the user's ability to form a solution to a task. Although there is no statistical significance involved with performance, we can list some possible reasons as to why this is. Firstly, the performance was not significantly different due to Spanish speakers being able to speak English, so this did not compromise their understanding of the language on the blocks. Secondly, the number of participants likely needs to be higher to find more significant differences. Spanish speakers took a longer time on average to drag in the first block during the tutorial. No significant difference was found, however, with higher numbers of participants, this is subject to change. Based on survey results and exploration times, it is clear that users would find the experience easier if the languages were consistent. None of the participants had a proper tutorial of the interactions involved with Scratch. Also, many time discrepancies and differences are likely the result of not understanding the tool. Again, all participants spoke English in some capacity, meaning we need to find more individuals that speak it poorly or do not speak English at all to verify our results. We also had difficulty recruiting participants, so the number could vary with a larger pool from a larger sample population. Our study revealed that confidence with the language and/or tool is an aspect that we need to consider when people use these tools. Since Spanish speakers perform better, but according to our definition of confidence, they showed more hesitation than English speakers, this proves to be the case. From the survey results and exploration times, it is clear that users would find the experience easier if languages were consistent. Also, if this is the case, then this strengthens the idea that those who do not speak English would have a greater challenge learning the languages than those who don't.
Thank you.